Thank you for calling Show Me Your Setup. How can I help you?
I'm Dan. This is Josh. We're here with Show Me Your Setup. And today, the setup we're going to talk about is how we set up to listen to podcasts when we're swimming. People were wondering, Josh, why are we wearing goggles today?
We're going to talk about the ways we listen to podcasts. And last night, what were you and I doing?
We weren't working, but we were working. We were working really hard. We were exercising our rights to swim. One of the ways I like to listen to podcasts and review podcasts and generally just immerse myself into a good podcast is by listening when I'm swimming in a pool.
And we're going to talk about the Mojawa Run Plus bone-conduction headphones.
Mojawa.
Waterproofing, suitable for swimming.
Also works for phone calls, but not phone calls while swimming underwater. Why not? Bluetooth cuts out in 1 inch of water. However, the Mojawa Run Plus, in addition to having Bluetooth, has an MP3 capability. You can store up to 4,000 songs or 400 podcasts.
32 gigabytes of internal storage.
We might get out of these goggles before we continue this conversation because they're not the most comfortable things in the world.
How have you used bone-conducting headphones in the past? Have you used them before swimming?
Before I got a pair for swimming, I got the bone-conducting headphones just because I liked the idea of having my ear uncovered. I wanted to be able to hear the world around me while still listening to some music. So I got myself a pair of, at the time, Aftershokz, which later rebranded as Shokz. And then I saw that they had a model for swimming. The swimming model didn't have Bluetooth. The reason I liked my original pair was for Bluetooth making phone calls and listening to music from my phone while I was doing chores around the house. But then for swimming, the Bluetooth doesn't work because 1 inch of water cuts out any Bluetooth signal. Shokz came out with a model called the Open Swim. I don't know if it says Open Swim anywhere. I don't know why I'm showing the whole thing, but it looks like this. And this is the part that sits on the temple and conducts into the bone. So that's where the transducer is. So the Open Swim doesn't have Bluetooth. I can only use this in the pool. Well, I can use it anywhere, but it doesn't work as... I can't make phone calls with the Open Swim. It's just a music player.
It's not a wireless headset.
Player. It is a wireless headset. It's not a wireless headset. It's a headset with no wires, but it also doesn't connect to anything.
Yeah.
It's all built in. Once I told you about the Open Swim, and you looked things up, you found a different brand that had the capabilities of the Open Swim along with the capabilities of
Bluetooth
connectivity plus the MP3 player. So this model can do both. I can use it for making phone calls and I can use it for swimming. In fact, Josh is putting his on now, so I'm going to put mine on. We won't be able to hear each other, but I'll call him on my phone using the Open. No, I won't do that.
We both have a pair of the Mojawa Run Plus bone conduction headphones. And we've used them in our homes. We've used them out exercising, hiking, walking, yard work, housework.
I've even used them in the car while driving to make a phone call.
And again, the benefit is that you can hear everything normally through your ears. You're getting an additional sound feed through your bone.
Through your bone.
My wife is hard of hearing, and she has hearing loss from birth. And she put these on, and she could hear much better than wearing regular headphones. Better than wearing earbuds, better than wearing over-the-ear headphones like this. So the bone conduction bypassed her ear canal.
Has she tried it for phone calls?
I'm not sure.
Wow. Well, that's something you might want to consider.
Yeah, I want to get her a pair because that was remarkable to me. I mean, she's tried hearing aids.
Absolutely.
Of course, they all go through the normal ear function, which her function is limited. Her upper frequencies are cut off. So this was remarkable. So I wanted to talk to you, Dan, about the sound quality, first of all, before we get in the pool.
Like the frequencies and just how do they sound?
Yeah.
We can talk about several differences.
So my impressions of the Mojawa sound quality, I get a lot of mid-range. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so that's fine with me. How do you feel they sound kind of as is, just putting them on your head and going?
I agree. A lot of mid-range.
Okay.
Kind of a flat, brassy sound. There's a metallic ring as the volume increases. It's just on the edges, but it's always
Yep.
kind of there, an ethereal ring.
And we should say the nice thing about the Mojawas are they supposedly hold up a lot better than other bone conducting headphones because they have metal wire going through. They're more durable,
The construction
stronger.
definitely seems more durable. I will admit that I've owned several pair of Shokz headphones that have broken, physically broken in various areas. Usually, either one of these elements just starts rattling at some point, it shakes loose in its frame, or a break occurs at this juncture. Not on the open swim. The open swim seems a little more durable than the open run that I've had. I don't have any to show you right now because I've frankly had to return a couple for
Okay.
warranty claim. That's what I'm looking for. Yes.
So the Mojawas are reinforced with metal, and I don't know if you can hear this. When I touch them, there's a slight metallic sound, and I feel that when I'm out moving around, like walking at a track, during movement, I'm hearing this metallic sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, but it's a little bit noticeable. So to me,
Out of
that's just a
curiosity,
little bit borderline off-putting.
if you don't bang them together and you just hold them and move them around, do you feel just if there's a looseness at all?
No.
Because like I said, okay, so they haven't actually detached themselves physically yet.
That's
It's
right,
just
no.
that sensation.
No, I'm wiggling
As
each
I
one.
shook mine, I think I turned mine into a pairing mode by accident, so I have to hold the button down. Now I've powered it off. So here's the thing. Because I have experience with more than just one brand of
Bone conducting.
bone conducting headphones, I can tell you the sonic differences between the different models that I've experienced. Whereas the Mojawa tend to have that mid-range heavy sound overall with a metallic ring around the edges, the Shokz seem to have a more widespread full spectrum sound, not as heavy in the mid-range. You do get more bass. Bass is really subjective to whether or not you have something plugging your ears, I've found. Because with complete open ear, unless they're in an exact perfect spot on the temple, you just don't have the low end. As soon as you plug your ears, you're flooded with the bass. The high end is a lot more brilliant and sparkly in the Shokz than it is in the Mojawa.
Okay.
Overall, the Mojawa is, I think, louder. I'm not sure if it's in terms of dynamics or just frequency. It's kind of a louder headset. The cueing, the prompts within the Mojawa, the onboard are startling compared to what I'm used to with the Shokz.
Okay.
The Shokz are very subtle voice. It's soft. It's like, yes, I'm here for you. The Mojawa is power on, power off. And my
MP3
favorite,
mode.
incoming call, incoming call, incoming call, incoming call, which is just, I can tell my phone's ringing. I don't need the headset to yell incoming call until I answer it. I don't know if I can turn that off.
So now should we focus on the changes in audio quality once we're swimming with these?
Yes.
Okay.
Because once we're swimming, again, we put in our little silicone earplugs, and these bad boys change everything.
And additionally, I've got quite a large swimming cap with room for like ear cups. So I'm sealing myself in, and it goes right underneath the Mojawa bone conducting headphones. Only
So
a
it holds
little
it
bit of
right
a band.
against your temple.
Yeah, it's covering that. Yep.
I'm guessing that intensifies the low end even more.
Oh yeah. So my experience with the earplugs and with the swim cap is stellar. They sound great. And since I've been wearing this larger swim cap, I no longer have that major difference coming above the water and going below the water because I'm really nicely sealed. And it's a great experience. I just listen to music. As I say, I load up about 2 albums worth and go, and it's been really good. Now, I have other issues, but I'll let you talk about sound quality at your health club.
So while I don't wear a swim cap, I have a different experience with the two different headsets. With the Mojawa, I also feel that there is less difference above and below water, because when you go below water, there's a little pressure increase all around. If you have the earplugs in and the headset is a good snug fit, there isn't much pressure difference when you come above water and go below water. With the Open Swim, it's a slightly looser fit. I mean, there's this flexibility. It's not as quite as tight to the temples, and so I definitely hear a difference above water and below water, which can be a factor depending on which stroke I'm swimming. Because of freestyle, I'm constantly turning my head to breathe, so that one ear comes out of the water. That changes things versus like backstroke where my head's underwater the whole time. So I have the same sound the whole time. I would say that the Mojawa actually perform better for swimming and in particular for listening to podcasts because of the mid-range heavy and the consistent volume, whether I'm above or below water. I do find that when I'm wearing the Open Swim, I troubleshoot actually when I'm working on a mixdown, a rough mixdown of a podcast. If I can't hear parts of it with the Open Swim, I realize, hey, I need to increase the volume of that voice in that section because it's not consistent with the other voices in the mix.
And I should say with the Mojawas, the bass is really nice. It feels full. It's just what I want, and the loudness is there. There's no problem getting as loud as I need it to be.
Josh, do you hear the metallic ring when you're swimming?
I don't.
So when you're hiking, you hear that.
Yeah.
But when you're swimming, you don't.
Yeah.
Do you have the volume higher or lower hiking versus swimming?
I'm going to guess it's higher hiking. I'm not wearing earplugs. I need it to be bit higher. As you said at the beginning, that metallic sound is introduced when the volume's higher. That's probably it.
I wonder if that's a factor of it just vibrating slightly off the head. Because it'd be interesting to find if you put a swim cap on while hiking, if that would take away the metallic ring, because you would also turn the volume down because it was louder overall because it was being pressed to your head. I have found that when I walk the beach on a windy day, I tend to put a hood up. And when I put my hood up, it changes again the sound, and the Mojawa being a little tighter, like that extra layer really brings in that low end and solidifies everything.
Yep, bit of a seal.
So not that I'd normally advocate wearing extra layers when wearing headsets, but if you want that low end, consider a cap, consider a toque, consider a hoodie, consider a headband.
We started off the show talking about how we listen to podcasts, and I kind of just want to go into that. I listen in the car a lot through Bluetooth, streaming from my phone. I listen at home, generally through Google Nest audio speakers, casting to those, or with some earbuds. These are not exactly earbuds. These are Tozo branded. It's open air. It's not an earbud, right? It's not going into my ear canal.
Correct.
But we'll talk more about these later or at another time. And I listen in bed. I love to listen in bed when the day is finally done and I'm resting before I sleep. The Mojawa, because of the band in back, are not great for leaning back.
True.
So I don't use these in bed. So
they work fine on the side, though.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm a side sleeper usually, so I can use the Mojawa in bed if I need to. But I don't tend to listen to podcasts in bed at night. Mm-hmm. I listen to my podcasts if I'm on a long car drive. I will stream it from my phone. When I'm mowing the lawn or doing other kinds of yard work, in the winter that would be snow blowing and shoveling, I will listen to my podcasts then. Doing dishes and folding laundry. Also good times for a podcast.
Yep.
I mean, you're sitting there, your hands are active, you can see what you're doing. It doesn't involve a lot of thought.
Yep.
You have time to ponder things or to listen and hear stories. And that's the best time to listen to a podcast, when you have time, but you're also busy, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I like to multitask with a podcast. And the Mojawa really helped me to do that because in the pool, in the yard, on the beach, even in the car, well, I guess you shouldn't listen to a headset in the car. But you can. I don't even know. It's open ear. It's not blocking my hearing of anything.
That's right.
That's the beautiful thing. When I'm mowing the lawn with my electric push mower and the Mojawa headset on, I can hear the birds.
In the car with a bone-conducting headset, it's really the same as listening to through your car speakers.
It pretty much is. Because you can hear traffic around you.
Yep.
You can hear sirens. You can hear everything.
Now,
you can hear that guy yelling at you, saying, why are you wearing a headset? And like, well, because I'm listening to a podcast. How are you listening to your podcast? You're not listening to a podcast? Well, why not? I mean, you have time. What, are you going to listen to the radio in the car? Nobody needs that. Listen to a podcast.
No, we're not giving advice. We're not lawyers. And we haven't researched whether a police officer would find these more valid or more damning if he were to pull you over and you had a headset
I mean,
on.
I'm just going to take off my headphones for a second, and I'm going to put this on, and we're going to see if my ears are covered by anything. No. No, they're not.
And that's
We can see
just
my
how
ear
you'd
right
argue
here.
the case to a police
And
officer.
I can hear from here. That's too many headsets.
Let's talk about the physical controls, because that comes into play in the pool.
Oh my goodness, does it ever. Now you've touched upon a sore subject for me.
Yes. On the left side, there's a physical button right here, and this is your power button. It will physically move a little bit when you hold it to turn it on, hold it to turn it off. Also, a quick tap and a hold drops it into a different playback mode. So it drops it in and out of Bluetooth. If you'd like to be connected to your phone, you'll want to be in Bluetooth mode. If you want to use the onboard 32 gigabytes of storage for music, for MP3s that you've dragged over, that's in the internal playback mode. So it's a quick tap and a hold, and then you'll hear the switch over. The other side, right at the Mojawa logo, this is
Power on.
not a physically tactile button, but it's a swipe up to raise the volume, swipe down to lower the volume.
If I move this up a little higher than what I'm doing off camera would be on camera. Swipe up, swipe down.
And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe a hold on this control drops it into regular playback mode, shuffle mode, or continuous play on the track that you're currently listening to.
MP3 mode.
Yep. I think that'll come through.
I think 2 taps is skip forward. And 3 is back.
It's on the physical control on the left. Yeah. 2 taps is skip forward in a podcast. 3 taps is skip backward in a podcast. 2 taps is skip the next track if you're listening to music.
1 tap is pause or play.
Yep. Yep.
And so I'm in MP3 mode, so if I do a tap and a hold,
Bluetooth mode.
I'm back in Bluetooth mode. Now I can make a phone call.
Bluetooth or MP3 mode.
MP3 mode.
And now that volume, see if I can compare to this. So on the Shokz, it has physical controls for volume, whereas Josh was talking about this swipe up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's stop that music. The controls on the Shokz are completely different. The power button is a button that you hold. It's in the middle here.
Which of you found better, more easy to operate in the pool? The Shokz or the Mojawa?
So the Shokz for volume, because it's a button.
Yeah.
I'm turning it up. I'm turning it down. It's very easy to control in the pool. The power button is also the play, pause, skip forward, skip back button.
Jumping back to the Mojawa, the physical button for on, off, for play, pause, for dropping between MP3 mode and Bluetooth mode, that button works fine as well. It's the other side with that swiping
volume
button.
control.
When it's wet, when you're wet, you can basically forget about it. So
Yeah, no, there's no change in the volume in the pool.
So I read a lot
you
of
start.
reviews about the Mojawa, and the advice is get your settings dialed in before you get in the pool. Get your music playing, get your volume the way you want it.
Skipping, forward, back, play, pause, that works just fine with that physical button. But yeah, the volume control on the swipe thing. And I also find that I get false. I use my Mojawa a lot more, I think, than you do. We've talked about this recently. Whereas you tend to use it mostly just for the pool or for those hikes. I use it like all day long. I'm in the house, I'm doing the chores, I'm making food, I'm wearing it, so I'm listening to music or a podcast or whatever I'm doing. And so I have it on a lot. And because I'm doing chores in particular and yard work and dishes and whatnot else, I'm not just static movement like this. I'm reaching up and I'm moving around, and the sensitivity of that swipe field seems to pick up on some of the movement of my arm unnecessarily. I don't know what it's picking up on, but I'm hearing the little notification sounds from the headset that's making me like, am I about to make a phone call? What did I just do? I don't even know. But it keeps playing the music. It's fine. You know, it's just extra difference. I've never heard that metallic ring from Shokz that I've heard from Mojawa. but I've also never heard the metallic ring on the Mojawa when I'm swimming in the pool. So for pool use in particular, there are pros and cons to each. And they're both fantastic because it's amazing to be able to listen to music while
That's right.
swimming.
That's right.
It's amazing to listen to a podcast while just floating on one's back in a pool, relaxed at the end of a long workout, and just hear that story and just get into that because you're just floating and you're hearing. It can be very immersive. It's a great way to listen to a podcast.
Very different.
It seems that on Amazon, the Mojawa Run Plus bone conducting headphones are some of the highest rated and most popular headphones for swimming. So that's why I bought them. It was all based on reviews, and they just seem to be the best for swimming at this time if you also want the Bluetooth connectivity. But there are some caveats, and I wanted to talk about my real pet peeve when I'm swimming. So before I wore a swim cap like this one that goes over my ear and gives me more of a seal,
Yep.
when I would get on my side and do the side stroke, especially with one ear in the water over the other. So when I'm on one particular side, so when this touch-sensitive slider control is coming in and out of the water, it jumps modes on me. So it jumps between shuffle play, regular play, and continuous track play. And that's a problem. It's a real problem. And it will do it multiple times. It might do it 2 or 3 times on one lap. Since I've worn the cap that gives me more of a seal, it's a little bit different. And it was doing it on breaststroke. For whatever reason, it's coming in and out of the water a lot. So I've tried to adjust my swim cap, get that seal a little better, but I feel like somehow it's either the water rubbing against the swim cap or it's just the water itself coming in and out, triggering that slider. But that is a big annoyance. Your finger is not going to put you back in the mode that you want it to be.
Oh, not at all.
So you're stuck until it happens again. So I have not fully figured it out, Dan. After a while, I feel like maybe I got my seal a little bit better with my swim cap and it stopped. It only happened maybe during a 5-minute span. It kept happening.
Interesting. I've not had this issue at all, but then maybe I have because I'm unaware, because I don't pay any attention to the order in which my songs play. I have a very limited library, and when I'm listening to a podcast, it's just one file. There's no tracks involved.
Oh, yeah.
And so fortunately I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
I'm either listening to the podcast or I'm listening to the music. And when it's music, I live on permanently shuffle or same play. I don't even care. I'm too busy doing laps, man. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I just have the same beat. Honestly, on the open swim, I have 4 songs. I have a lot more music on the Mojawa because I was doing some testing, but there's just 4 songs that I listen to constantly looping. Same 4 songs for like 2 years now.
You and I both swim at pools that are pretty crowded. Like when we're there, the lanes are usually full. So we've seen other lap swimmers. We've seen people getting lessons, adults and kids, different events going on, but we'll have our reserved swim lane. Sometimes we have to share that lane. Dan, how often do you see people wearing headphones while they're swimming?
That's a good question. Increasingly, I see it more and more often because there's more tech available now.
Yeah.
And also because I and my wife, who also uses a headset in the pool, people ask, hey, what are you listening to? How are you doing that? What is that thing? And I tell them all about it. I'm like, it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm listening to my music. Everything's cool. Over time, I'm seeing more and more people wearing headsets in the pool. I would say less than 10% of people wear headsets in the pool.
Yep. So I'm really interested in folks that listen to Show Me Your Setup, or you just came here because perhaps you're a lap swimmer. So you're the perfect audience that Dan and I would like to kind of poll you about. Our email is showmeyoursetuppodcast@gmail.com. Do you wear headphones in the pool? Have you tried bone conducting headphones? Do you listen to podcasts with headphones? How are you using your headphones? And especially if you've used a headset for swimming.
I'm going to add in if you just use them in the pool but you don't swim, because we have a shallow pool at my club. It goes from 3.5 to 4 feet, so it's fine for lap swimming. It's also fine for lap walking. Some people just walk laps. It's very good for if you have any issues with your hips, your knees, your legs, your feet, or whatever, you can still get a nice workout without all the pressure of walking on land. There's a bunch of other things one can do, but the point is, do you listen to podcasts in a pool?
And I'd like to share that Dan and I both work at ModPod. We're both in the production department. And ModPod is a company that helps businesses conceive and produce podcasts and ultimately publish them, ultimately connect with their customers and potential customers. It gives companies a longer time to spend with potential customers because you're listening to a podcast from 5 minutes to 2 hours.
We've found that once somebody starts listening to a podcast, oftentimes they continue listening to that podcast. So what you have is a captive audience for a prolonged period of time to communicate your message to. ModPod likes to help you envision your series. What story do you want to tell? How do you want to tell it? We'll help you with that journey. We're Show Me Your Setup. And today's setup is Swimmin. Swimmin with the Mojawa Run Plus. What's this dangling from it? Oh, that's
yes.
another cool thing. Yep. This is how you charge and transfer your data. It's a magnetic mount. It just hooks itself right in. Plug the other end into your computer. It'll charge right up. Hold the charge for a pretty long time. Not as long as the open swim, but a pretty long time nonetheless.
8 hours of music and calls. And it's IP68 swimming waterproof.
Super waterproof. Durable, too. Mine is orange. Josh's is blue.
In the future, we will be interviewing folks about their setup. We'll be featuring how they work and how they create and how they have fun in their setups. If you're up for that, we would love for you to continue listening to us, continue watching us on YouTube, youtube.com/@GoModPod. And our website, so that you can subscribe to the podcast, is gomodpod.com. And there you'll find Show Me Your Setup. You can subscribe so that you never miss an episode. If you would like to be involved with Show Me Your Setup, if you'd like to sit in with Dan and I and allow us to geek out over your setup, there's that email address, showmeyoursetappodcast@gmail.com. We mentioned that we work at ModPod, and through ModPod, we produce Show Me Your Setup. You can follow ModPod on social media, and it's facebook.com/GoModPod. We will post all of our episodes there, so you can also comment there. If you want to get in touch with us and you have a setup that's cool, that you've put thought into, that you're like, hey, I want to express this. I want to show this. I want to share this. Just post a comment on YouTube and we'll be in touch with you. We'll first ask you to, send us a photo or two of your setup. We talked about ways that we like to listen to our podcasts, and I like these Tozo.
What does it look like when you put one on, Josh?
Headset.
How does that even fit on your head?
Yeah. All right.
Which side it goes where?
Okay. It's already connected to my phone, and then this can adjust as well. Can you see that, Dan?
I can.
Kind of adjusting up and down, yeah. So it is super lightweight, super comfortable. I can side sleep on it and just forget it. These can stay in all night if I fall asleep with them in. Love the sound quality. I love everything about them so far. So, sorry, did you pick any of that up?
Yeah, we heard all of it.
Okay. If
You were
you'd
slightly
like,
off, Mike. We could hear you just fine.
if you'd like me to review these Tozo wireless headphones, okay, I can certainly do that. Here's a companion to the headphones, the studio headphones that Dan and I are wearing right now. These are the Audio Technicas, and they
Obviously, I like
Bluetooth.
Josh's colored choice there.
So we can review more headphones. Just suggest what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear from us. Show me your setup podcast@gmail.com.
If Mojawa could do any one thing differently, perhaps they would add a few buttons instead of a swipe.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's like my one big complaint. Oh, also, the alert tones from the Mojawa are startlingly loud compared to all of the onboard audio in the Shokz.
All right, firmware update.
Firmware update. Change that.
Yeah.
Re-record it with a a more pleasant voice. I feel like somebody should call me while these are on so we can hear the incoming call, because that's just so startling. If anyone could call me, that would be handy. I'll put this over here. We'll see what happens.
Power on.
Oh,
Battery medium.
now it's on.
Connected.
Now it's connected.
Incoming call. Incoming call. Incoming call.
Oh, it's working now.
Incoming call. Incoming call. Incoming call.
Isn't that mad loud?
Incoming call. Incoming.
Yeah.
Hello. Hey. Hey, Josh,
Tell me
you're on the
about
Mojawa
podcasting.
headset.
Tell me about headphones. Tell me about swimming.
Oh, my goodness. So anyways, another fun fact about bone-conducting headphones is you can put them right on a microphone and hear the other caller.
Swimmin with Mojawa Run Plus waterproof sports headphones. Amazing call quality.
Let me put it right on the top here. Say that again.
Swimmin with Mojawa Run Plus waterproof sports headphones. Amazing call quality. That's why you'll want to buy them.
Power off.
That was crazy.